السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا guys. Welcome. As you can tell, my cough still hasn't fully recovered. So welcome guys. Hope you guys are having a fantastic time. My name is Yakat Zaman. This is the Roots of Knowledge and we have a live stream. So this is our live stream session where I try to answer some of your questions that you guys might have. And as you can see in the corner, I've tried to put you can see there. I'm going to try to get a light for that. Yeah, so it can be seen much more clearly. At the moment, you can't fully see it. But inshallah, you guys will be able to see it soon, inshallah. So yeah, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Welcome to this live stream, guys. Nice hot day today in the UK. Very nice weather today. I've got my tea with me as well. This is my tea. Some nice herbs in there. وعليكم السلام Fresh Prince. أهلا وسهلا. كيف الحال يا حبيبنا؟ الحمد لله أنا بخير. أشعر بالراحة وبالأمان بفضل الله سبحانه وتعالى. وكيف الحال عندكم؟ السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My brother Masir Ali. كيف أنت؟ أنت كيسه هو؟ Right. ابن آدم وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا. Mustafa Filinta. Alaikum assalam. I am confused about Imam Ahmad Raza, whether you can take from him. A lot of people say he is a mujaddid, or Imam Suyuti from Hind, but I also hear a lot of opposition from Deoband school. Is he reliable Hanafi scholar? So Maulana Ahmad Raza Khan has written many works. Many of them are very, very good works. And without a doubt, we should benefit from khair and goodness wherever we find it. However, he does have a takfiri approach. So unfortunately, his approaches are very harsh. The way he labels people as kafir. This is why it's very important for us to understand the balance. So his works are good. Definitely read his works, but at the same time understand that he's a human being. He makes mistakes like everyone else. The only person that is free of mistakes is the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So yeah, that's that. Is it allowed to listen to nasheeds by women or girls? No music in it. You should avoid it. Tawsif Siddiqi wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. I am from Germany, originally from India. I have some questions. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome, my brother. Masir Ali, أنا تيكو. ما شاء الله. أنت تيكو أو أنت تيك أنا؟ Qasim, alaikum assalam. What's your advice, opinion on the 18 degrees Fajr in summer? So I generally do not follow it. What I do is I follow 1 hour after Maghrib, I pray my Isha, and then Fajr is basically about 2 hours before sunrises. That time. But it's fine. Those who want to, because the 18 degrees doesn't even come in summer. That's the issue in the UK. It doesn't fall in. أنا بخير الحمد لله يا أجمل. أهلا وسهلا. أهلا وسهلا. جملك الله. Firstly, some of my Pakistani friends here take bank loan from regular German banks, stating that some scholars like Tahir al-Qadri or Ghamidi allow taking loan for personal residence. Okay, so is that your question? What's your opinion on brother Asrar Rashid? I have not really heard too much of his talks or anything, so I wouldn't really be able to comment on that. I don't like commenting on people if I haven't really heard. He seems a bit harsh in the way he approaches things. MashaAllah, he seems as though he's trying to bring about some change in many of the people of his background, Brilvi background. So this is something that he's admired for. Kazmataz wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. Muhammad Hussein wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Muhammad Hussein. What's happening, bro? Irfan bi alaikum assalam. I hope you're well, alhamdulillah. Very good. Thank you very much for asking. Jazakumullah khair. Mullah, enjoying the weather this weekend, mashallah, excellent. Enjoying it a lot. Had a nice barbecue today. So as you can tell, the sun has got to my face. Tawsif Siddiq, secondly, I follow Hanafi fiqh, but praying Isha gets very difficult in summer. Can I pray earlier than Hanafi calculation apps? So with regards to the bank issue, there are some scholars who do say that for you, the property that you live in, you can take a mortgage for that, a loan for that, yeah, for the property that you live in. If it's difficult for you to be able to acquire a house through other means. And the second is, as for the summertime, what you can do is you can pray your Isha 1 hour after Maghrib. What time is your Maghrib over there? What time is the Maghrib? So generally, I mean, this is what I do. 1 hour after Maghrib, I pray. Some allow praying 40 minutes after Maghrib, half an hour after Maghrib, depending on the situation. So I would say if the Maghrib is around about 9:30ish, 9:40ish, then 1 hour would suffice. And if it's much later than that, then about half an hour you can wait in the summer. You found a place where to hang the YouTube thing. Yeah, so this is temporary at the moment. I'm just what I've done basically, guys. This is the cheat. I'm not gonna, lie to you guys. So what I done was I bought a coat hanger, those metal ones, and I've twisted it, and I've managed to fit that around there and put it on the shelf. So it literally can just fall off at any moment. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. It can fall off at any moment, but inshallah, it will not fall off. So once I get a permanent solution for it, then inshallah. So that's because I wanted to put it over here, but the problem my head comes in the way, so you won't be able to see it. So the idea is if I put it over here, you guys can see in the side. Tanning going on, and I get my skin gets burnt. If I sit in the sun too long, my nose gets all burnt. Here gets burnt, so I've got to put sun cream on. هل أمارس الرياضة؟ نعم، أمارس الرياضة. أحاول يوميا أن أمارس. نعم. أرفع الحديد وأركب دراجة. Can you please explain the 18 degrees and 15 degree ruling? What you can do, Ibn Adam, is if you go to my Quduri lessons, I've actually explained this in the times of Salat. The times of Salat. I'll explain this. So basically, the rule is this, that when the sun sets, so when the sun goes below the horizon, yeah, so imagine this is the horizon, and the sun goes below the horizon. So Isha starts when the sun has gone 18 degrees below the horizon, according to Imam Abu Hanifa. You call this the astronomical twilight. When astronomical twilight disappears, then Isha starts. But according to Imam Abu Hanifa's two students, they say no, they say 15 degrees. So they say when the sun goes below the horizon by 15 degrees, which is called nautical twilight, that's when the Isha starts. There's an ikhtilaf between Imam Abu Hanifa and his two students. Right? So, like in today's times, a nautical twilight is about an hour after Maghrib, and about an hour after Maghrib, roughly about an hour, 10 minutes. And astronomical twilight is about 1 hour and a half, or maybe even 1 hour and 45 minutes or so. So that's the issue. The problem is in the summer, when the sun does not go down enough. It doesn't go down to 18 degrees the entire summer. In June, July, it doesn't go down, and May as well, parts of May. So that's why that means technically the time for Isha doesn't come. So that's why we got to figure out a different method for it. Yes, my question was, are we allowed to take regular housing loan as they do? There is a Turkish bank here, but I am not sure if it's real halal. Yeah, so that the answer I gave was that. Wa alaikum assalam. Soon no more Isha will arrive in Germany. Can I then simply read Isha after 2 Maghrib, and will it be counted as qada? So there are different opinions the scholars have mentioned about this. The opinion that I take is after the Maghrib, you just wait for about an hour and then you pray Isha. Okay, so Tosif, 9 p.m. these days and Isha. So you can wait about an hour, Tosif, about 1 hour. AI, alaikum assalam, rahmatullah. Legends, wa alaikum assalam. What's the mas'ala for Isha prayer in the UK in the summer? Yeah, so you pray the Isha prayer, but you can wait 1 hour after Maghrib. Is there a disliked time praying Maghrib and Isha? There is technically, if you delaying the Maghrib without any excuse is disliked. It's makruh. As for the Isha, if you delay it, it's okay unless you delay after midnight. So delaying after midnight is considered to be disliked without an excuse. If you got an excuse, then it's fine. Oh yeah, Sheikh, chai pisa. Oh kabana, chai pisa. See that I know Midpuri lingo as well. Sana wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. Is it necessary to relieve yourself when waking up Fajr to do wudu? No, you don't have to. Just have to do wudu. There are many kabira sins I make regular tawbah, but often end up repeating them. Do these things make me munafiq? No, as long as you're making tawbah, you're sincere in your heart, then inshallah it's not. Dislike as in it reaches the level of sinfulness? Possibly. Yeah, if there's no valid excuse for delaying the Maghrib, then it possibly can lead to. We can't say definitely it leads to sin, but it's potentially something that's borderlining sin. Muhit wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa sahlan. Can we say Durud Sharif that not from Hadith and will be rewarded? Yes. As long as the meanings are good, then you can say them. Yeah, Imam Sakhawi has a book in which he mentions the permissibility of this. Ibi, Mufti, I found out about the sitcom. It is in Arabic, that's why it's not widespread. So small center is hosting him, that's why. Yeah, probably. So inshallah, I'll be going there. Mustafa, ahlan wa sahlan. Walaikum assalam. Is Isha then counted as qada, and what should no, qada would only be if you missed the entire prayer. If it's missed, that's what would be considered to be qada. If you pray with Shafi as a Hanafi, then you should not have qada intention. You should have the same intention. Yeah, so according to Hanafis, it wouldn't be counted as a qada. Qada is if the time has been missed. I'm only son of my parent. They live alone in India. I live in continuous guilt in Germany that for worldly ease I am missing service of my old parents, but situation of Muslims in India isn't safe. May Allah make it easy for you, brother. Sheikh, you enjoying the weather? MashaAllah. Weather is Janga weather. Today is Janga weather. What's the easiest way to learn tarkeeb? Just keep trying it. That's the easiest way. You keep trying. Go through my videos. Keep trying it. Keep trying it. Keep trying it. Show it to your teacher, and that way you're just gonna improve. Yeah, I'm going inshallah. Tawsif, can we make dua in sujood of farz and sunnah mu'akkada? So according to the Hanafis, you should avoid making dua in the farz salat unless it's in Arabic. And in the nafil salat, then it's fine. Sunnah mu'akkada and nafils is fine. Ya Allah. Right, so let's check out Curious Cat. Let's see what Curious Cat is doing. And by the way, I've put up the link for the video in on my Telegram for the blogging theology presentation that I did last week. Yeah, so you guys can check that out, inshallah. If you're interested in history of Arabic language and the individual Taha Hussein, then inshallah, that's going to be a good place to start from more benefit. Okay, Bana Molvi, Saab, ki story hai. All right, look at that. Mirpuri boys are coming out. The Mirpuri boys. See that? I can speak, I can understand Mirpuri, I can understand Bangla, I can understand what else, what other languages? Mufti, what's the best place to Pakistan to experience different places like the Deobandis and the Sufi Khankas together? I don't know, I haven't really kind of traveled too much around Pakistan to be able to tell you. Karachi is a good place. Lahore is a good place. These are two places. I watched your presentation on theology. It was really, I'm more motivated. Alhamdulillah. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Yeah. So, I personally think that the Arabic language. There's so much, so many resources and so much more that needs to be done for the English speaking community about the Arabic language, about the Quran. But unfortunately, I think there's not many people out there who actually are either motivated to do it or capable of doing it. That's why we need to develop. We need to develop institutes and develop systems where people can start becoming more proficient in the Arabic language. Yeah, to help, inshallah. Was the takfir of Imam Ahmad Raza Khan, Imam Gangohi justified? So Imam Gangohi said that Allah can lie. So where did he say this? That's the whole issue. So see, the problem is the claims that Maulana Ahmad Raza Khan has made cannot be sustained. They can't be proven. It's just some documents that he claims to have found. Whereas if you read all of Maulana Gangohi's works, you're not going to find it. So if you can find in Maulana Gangohi's published works that he said this, by all means, then you can check it out. The main, how to eliminate this dispute between Brelvis and Deoband. The main thing is, let me tell you what the main thing is. There's two problems in this, that as long as these two problems are there, it will not be eliminated. Number one is there are senior individuals on both sides who are just attacking each other. That's the problem. On the Brelvi side, on the Deobandi side, you have senior individuals who are attacking you, who are using the wrong language to communicate with each other. I would say that's better. They're communicating in the wrong language, which seems a language of takfir, a language of. That's the problem. Number two is they don't sit together. They just basically, what's it's like a tennis match. They're reading each other's works or whatever they assume is each other's works, and based upon what their teachers have told them, the teachers have told them, and they're just involved in this, right? And unfortunately, this is the main issue. This is in every sort of like group, you get these kind of things. So sadly, this is the problem that you have. So these are the two things that need to be eliminated. If they want to eliminate it, they need to sit down. They need to the texts that are there. They need to sit down and say, okay, look, your scholars wrote these texts. You explain to us what they meant by them. That's as simple as that. But every group wants to try and interpret in their own way of what they say. So, for example, let's say Brelvis, they want to interpret their own way of what the Deobandi they assume they've said in their works. And then there's Deobandis who want to interpret their own way what Maulana Ahmad Raza Khan has said in his works. And that's unfair. I think that's unfair. That is. You should let the Brelvis interpret their own sheikhs in their own ways. Yeah. And if there's no room for interpretation, if he clearly has said something which is wrong, then same with the other side, Deobandi side. And I think people who go around just a lot of the unfortunately fanboys of both sides. You've got fanboys of this side, fanboys of this side. They're the ones that are pouring more fuel on the fire. Yeah, sadly, that's the thing. If Durud contain kufr and shirk words and I say them, would I be sinful since I don't know? If you don't know, then it's fine. If you know, then you'd be counted sinful. Mufti, I've got a test tomorrow on lessons 1 to 10 of Medina book. It covers things like Mudaf, Mudaf Ilayh, and Jar Majroor. How do I practice? Well, get off live stream and start revising. That's the main thing. Is keep practicing, keep going over them. Join my Quranic Arabic 17 lessons course. It's £50. Join that, inshallah. That's going to be beneficial for you. The color of the tea you're drinking looks really. So this is a mixture. Basically, I'll show you guys what it is. Yeah, so this is what it is. Okay, see inside there? That's what it is. There's all those different leaves and spices. Yeah, it's all that. I'm going to show you guys. Look, it's like these kind of things. Yeah, petals. Wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan, Sharif. Ahlan wa sahlan. My brother Sharif will. Which one is which one is star when is one a planet? Najm versus Kawkab. Permissible and permission even cannot wrap my head around root meaning. Okay, so Najm is for a star. Kawkab is for a planet. Yeah. So kawakib, kawkaban is usually used for planets, the brighter stars. Now, obviously, in them days, they didn't, differentiate between planets and stars usually. So sometimes these words are used interchangeably. But in the Quran, usually when the word najm is used, it's used for a star, and the kawkab is used for a brighter, like a planet. Um, is it permissible to call Allah the Father when giving da'wah to Christians? You should be avoided. That terminology should be avoided because from the mutashabihat, and it clearly sort of resembles something which Allah has not named Himself by. Is it will the Hazir Nazir not be a big issue for the Ubandi respect to all? So again, I mean, the whole issue is when it comes to these kind of things need to be discussed. To what limits can a person believe in Hazir Nazir? To what limits? So as long as everyone agrees, look, these are the categorical evidences. So if everyone sits down and says, "Right, what we're going to do is whatever is categorical, we will explain this is categorical. These are the things that can be understood categorically from the Quran and Sunnah. And then these are the peripheral issues. Deobandis might disagree on peripheral issues. They might say, look, we don't agree with these peripheral issues, like celebrating, going to the grave of a particular pious person of the past and celebrating their 1 year anniversary or whatever. We disagree with that. And the Brahmins might say, look, we're okay with it. It's nothing categorical. So they need to understand there are certain things in sort of like belief which are core aspects of the belief, and there's certain things are peripheral. Sheikh, what did the dropshipper say to the customer? Salim. Allahu Akbar. Wah wah, kya baat hai bhai. This Ramadan, I had an issue. Turkish masjids closer to my residence in Germany do 20 rakats, but only read last 10, 15 surahs, while further away Arabic masjids do 8 rakats and finish Quran. Where to go? Whichever one you want to go to. Yeah, whichever one you want to go to, inshallah. Sheikh, what is the correct position of Hanafi madhab regarding raising the finger in the shahud? Because some Hanafis say. So in the early works, there's no mention of the raising of the finger, the early works. In the later works, this is actually mentioned. So later Hanafis, they all, or almost nearly all of them, say that the finger should be raised in the shahud. Yeah. So this happens in all madhabs. There are certain things that the early madhabs are silent about. So no one in the early madhab has categorically said the raising of the finger is wrong. Do qawaid of fiqh change over time? No. Qawaid of fiqh are just fixed. That's why they call qawaid qa'ada. It's the word qa'ada, which means something that's sitting. Is there consideration of maqasid of Sharia and Hanafi fiqh, or is it something new? No, it's not needed. Yeah, maqasid is not needed. I mean, in the sense that we believe that ahkam revolve around certain types of maqasid. Maqasid is something that was developed in the 400s. It was something that was extrapolated from in the 400s by Imam Juwayni and then after him, others. Please, how can I find the link to your course? I just watched your Naba video and it was very informative, and it looks like every ayah of the Quran has multiple layers unfolding every time. Yes, Alhamdulillah. Which course are you referring to? I've got some courses on my uruk.com website. You can check that out. So the link is at the bottom there. You can see it scrolling. Assalamu alaikum. Ahla wa sahlan Sharif. Udhun, ear, and permission. Idhan. Oh, right. So udhun is basically, udhun is ear, isn't it? So idhan is permission, because the permission comes, you have to hear it. So there has to be a hearing of the permission. So azina, it means like he eared him, as in he gave him the permission in his ear. If I have to inherit a house from my father, which he built using bank loan, what should I do as interest is haram? You can inherit it, inshallah. Yeah, as long as he has not acquired interest, as long as he's not built it on interest. So I assume he has not built it on interest. He's simply just paying off a loan and he's paying the bank interest. So it'll be permissible for you. Dear Sheikh, I have joined a new job in the office. There doesn't seem to be an extra room to pray. I've asked, is it permissible to pray in the disabled bathroom, which is always clean? I mean, that's like a last resort. If there's no other option, then you can pray there. But that's a last option. If you got no other place, then yeah. But otherwise, you're trying to find a place away from the toilet. After Farah Salah, is it must or preferred to make individual dua? No, you don't have to make dua. Yeah. So you don't have to make dua after Salat because inside the Salat there is a dua anyway. Before you give salam, you read tashahhud, you read Durud Sharif, and then you read dua. So that dua is there in the Salat. That's the main part of the Salat. Afterwards, you can make it if you want. If you don't want to make it, you don't have to make it. I want to learn Arabic properly and also the Balagha so I can understand the Quran better. Alhamdulillah. So if you check on my uruk.com, I have some courses there. For beginners, for absolute beginners, I have a course called Quranic Arabic 17 Lessons. It's £50 course, 50. And there's 17 lessons in there where you get an understanding of how to start being able to read and understand the Quran in Arabic. Right, so let's check if there's anything on Curious Cat. Okay, got nothing there. Oh, actually, I didn't put Instagram on today, didn't I? Okay, should I go on there now? Let's go on there for a little while. Just go on to this for a little while, guys. Right. Sheikh, during the Alim course, what are some good tips for memorizing definitions and concepts, especially when one is receiving an abundance of ilm each day? Right. So it's a good question. This is by RR. So what I would say is you have for yourself a separate notebook, small one. Try to keep it small in your pocket, and you write down on there the definition that you want to memorize. Everything you want to memorize in a book, you highlight it, and then that's going to become your memorizing book now. So you break it down subject by subject. You put like stickers there, wherever you want, and then you're going to write down, for example, like you want to write down definitions of words in Arabic grammar, nahu, definitions of words in fiqh, maybe definitions of words in, and then those definitions you're going to use. I would say don't use that book for vocab because vocab is not naturally memorized. It's something that you acquire by reading. So that would be, and keep going over those definitions. Memorization will only happen when you memorize something. This is the Mauritanians say this. The Mauritanians say you will only memorize something if you've read it 1,000 times. So you read something, go over something 1,000 times, and then you're going to have memorized it. Sheikh, how to learn to read Arabic without the harakat? So again, you have to do an Arabic course for that. I have a course called Quranic Arabic 17 Lessons. It's £50 course. And in that course, I teach how to read the Arabic without the vowels. Yes, it's not ideal. However, I pray as far away from the toilet as possible and I use paper towels on the tiles. Yeah. You're welcome, Abu Bakr. You're welcome. Wayakum. Yeah, that's basically what happens. Omar, ahlan wa sahlan, Omar. Wa alaikum assalam. Can you share the BBC documentary link that you mentioned about the King James Bible and how English was affected by it? You mentioned this in Blogging Theology. Yes, I can share this with you. Where is it? Okay, this is it. Okay, so this is the documentary, BBC. Okay, so BBC documentary on English language. There you go. Ibn Adam, Ahlan wa sahlan. What courses do you have for people who have studied Alim course but they'd like to get back to learning again? So what I would say is it depends on the individual. Sometimes what I do is if someone asks me, I send them a document which has various types of Arabic levels on there, and they can have a go at attempting to try and do those and send it back to me, and then I kind of give them an idea of what kind of things they need to focus on for that. So it all depends, I would say. So, and that's the first thing. The second thing is, what are you interested in when you want to like go over your works? Are you interested in maybe just reading? Are you interested in going through technical things like grammar? Are you interested in going through fiqh? Are you interested in going through tafsir works? So it all depends on that, I would say. What is meant by hadir nadir? I read here. So hadir nadir would mean that an individual is there all the time, seeing everything that's happening in all locations. Yeah, so omnipresent. So that we call omnipresent. Jazakallah khair. You're welcome, Sheikh. You are well read on every aspect of sociology, religion. What about geopolitics? Are you up to date with situation? Like, no, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not up to date with. I don't really keep up to date with what's happening in the world. I just see whatever's on the news, but I don't really have time to read articles and discussions about these things. Sometimes I might get a little bit of time, maybe listen to something, but unfortunately, I don't at the moment. And the other thing about politics is politics. The average layperson will always have many will always have many sort of like unclear information. Yeah, a lot of the information is unclear. It's not categorical. It's presented with a specific narrative. It's biased. That's why politics, for the layperson, it's whoever's written the politics, whoever's written the media article or video. It's there. It's basically they are the ones that are writing the politics. So for most people, I don't think really they know what exactly is happening in around the world. All right, guys. So that was my day, guys. That was my day, and Alhamdulillah, tomorrow, inshallah, I've got my cycling coming up. Inshallah, I actually put I put up a little post I posted on my social media, which was about learning the Arabic language. Yeah, and the post basically was saying that a lot of people assume that just by studying 4 or 5 books in Arabic literature, a person gains proficiency in the Arabic language, which isn't true. Yeah, to gain proficiency, to gain the level where the Arabic language becomes something like a second nature to a person, they have to read a large variety of works, and they have to do a lot of writing as well. That's how you're going to gain the proficiency. So generally, my advice to students would be just read as much as you can. Yeah, as much as you can, as much as you can, and just don't stop. It's going to take you a few years to gain the proficiency, but you have to do it very regular, and you have to write as well. Is there any proofs for this in the Quran or Sunnah? Nothing categorical, to my knowledge. Nothing categorical to say this. Alaikum assalam, Ibn Adam. Can we have a run through of the courses you have on Uruk? Jazakallah khair. So, on my uruk.com, I will actually show you guys. And for those who are on Instagram, I will say to you guys, I'll tell you guys what I have. Yeah, so let me try to show you this. So these are the courses that I have on my uruk.com website. Okay, mashallah, this website has been designed by a very good brother Nabil from the US. May Allah give him barakah in his time, his health, his ilm, mashallah. So on there, I've got two balagha courses. Balagha is basically understanding the eloquence of the Arabic language. Right? So there's two courses dedicated to that, which are purely based upon the Quran, around the Quran. Quranic examples, that's all it is. So it's two courses. One is Ilm al-Ma'ani and the other one is Ilm al-Badi and Bayan. Right? So those are, for those of you guys who have studied Balagha, then you know what I'm talking about. Right? So those are not for starters, beginners. Those are for people who have done a little bit of Arabic before. Then I've also got Usul al-Shashi. Usul al-Shashi is basically intermediate Usul al-Fiqh, Hanafi Usul al-Fiqh course. Yeah, it's about 60 lessons. That is. Then I've got Ilm al-Arud course, which is 5 lessons of Arabic meters, the rhythmic meters in Arabic poetry. So I go through to explain how that's made. Arabic grammar and tarkib course, which is a 15-lesson course, which basically kind of just gives you an overview of what you need to know about Arabic grammar. Then I've got Maqamat al-Hariri. I do different sections of Maqamat al-Hariri. So I've got two parts on here. First part is 16 lessons. Second part is 12 lessons. And basically what I do is Maqamat al-Hariri is Arabic literature. It's advanced Arabic literature. So I go through the Maqama, which is like a drama, but the expressions they use are quite sort of like eloquent. Diwan of Imam Shafi'i on there. So that's the one I've got on my YouTube channel. Quranic Arabic 17 lessons. This is the Arabic grammar course for beginners, ultimate beginners. You start off with there, and lots of you, alhamdulillah, have done this course. Mantiq, which I still haven't finished off. So I go through Mantiq in English. Muqaddim ibn Salah, which is basically advanced Usul Hadith course, which I haven't completed, which is about 38 lessons. Quduri, there are sections of Quduri that I've covered. So I've covered the entire Quduri, but I've broken it down into like about 25, 30 lessons, sections. And then I've got the heart of the Quran, which is a Surah Yasin course. Surah Yasin, I go through it grammatically, tarkib, meaning of the words, and tafsir of it as well. It's 12 lessons. Essence of the Quran, which is a Usul al-Quran course. 12 lesson course. It goes through the kind of fundamental things you need to understand about the Quran. And then I got Surah Mulk course, which is basically going through Surah Mulk like the Surah Yasin one. Tarkib, and then it goes through a breakdown. And then I've got classical Arabic poetry course, which is goes through Hamasa, the Hamasa poetry. I go through sections of that. So it's 13 lessons. Then I've got the 40 Hadith of Purity course, which is I go through 40 Hadith and I extract from there the fiqh that you need to understand from predominantly Hanafi madhab. Then I've got Hidayah, Bayt al-Fasid. So I've got Hidayah course there, which basically goes through the chapter of Bayt al-Fasid. And then I've got Quduri Ijara course, which is the Quduri. Then I've got Tirmidhi. So Sunan Tirmidhi, I've gone through several chapters of Tirmidhi, Tahara, Salat, Zakat, and I've uploaded that onto it as well. Then I've got Sharh Qatr al-Nada. So Sharh Qatr al-Nada is an advanced text in Arabic grammar. So I'll go through that. And then and that's still in the process of being updated. I'm making new ones, I'm adding them on. Then I got Usul al-Fiqh, 28 lessons for beginner intermediate. So this is ideal for anyone who really wants to get into Usul al-Fiqh and understand what is it all about. How does it work in the Hanafi school? Then I've got a 12-lesson course on menstruation, how menstruation works in the Hanafi school and how to work it out. And then I've got Nur al-Anwar course, which is an advanced Usul Fiqh course, Hanafi Fiqh. Zad al-Talibin course, which is being updated. So basically, I go through the hadith of Zad al-Talibin from a grammatical point of view. Elements of Faith course, 12 lessons on Aqidah for beginners, for someone who wants to know in Islam about what are the core beliefs that we need to have. And then I've got this, it's called 100% charity kids Quran surahs. So basically, anything that I make from this goes to charity, goes to an orphanage. It's I go through the last surahs of the Quran for kids. Explain it how you'd explain to kids. Yeah. Okay, and that's basically it. Found your Kudu lessons on YouTube so useful. Ameen, Jazakallah khair, Kay Saeed. Ameen, Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. How do you develop your own style in Arabic? I want to come up with the coolest style. How do you develop your own style in English? The same way you develop your own style in English, my brother Masir, is the same way you're going to develop your own style in Arabic. Wa alaikum assalam, Nafisa. Ahlan wa sahlan. At the moment, I don't have anything on my mind. I just do my regular Hidayah lessons on Wednesday. Anyone can attend those, 10:30 UK time. But besides that, I don't really have anything. I did have some ideas before, but I'm just so busy at the moment with what I'm doing at the moment. I would like to do more things, definitely. Definitely. Do you teach Pashto or can you recommend teacher? I don't teach Pashto, and I don't know a teacher who teaches Pashto. There are lots of YouTube videos you can find about learning Pashto. Which is easier to learn, Arabic or Pashto? It depends. I mean, it depends because Arabic, you're learning it for a particular purpose. You want to understand. You want to understand the Quran, or you want to, understand Islamic books. Pashto, I mean, no, you're limited to what you can do with Pashto. Imam Suyuti said in Tanwir al-Halik في إمكان رؤية النبي والملك that some can see the Prophet in wake state. Is this meant by Hadir Nadir? Allah knows best. Do you recommend to learn Urdu if someone don't know Arabic yet? I mean, I don't know why you'd want to learn Urdu. If you want to learn Urdu because maybe there's some scholars that teach in Urdu and you want to benefit from them, then yes, that's fine. But otherwise, I don't see the need for learning Urdu first. You can learn Urdu later on. If you want to learn Arabic because you want to understand the Islamic scientists, then obviously learn the Arabic language, I would say. Assalamu alaikum, ahla wa sahlan. Fard salah on an airplane do not have to be made up. That's what I say. How about in a car, bus, train, submarine? Same thing. Yeah, same thing. Where does this Isha 1 hour after Maghrib come? Doesn't Isha, according to Red Twilight, Isha will come at 13 degrees. So basically, I mentioned this earlier, Ibrahim. I don't know if you were listening. So if you watch my Quduri videos in the times of Salat, I've explained it all over there about the Maghrib and Isha time. So the idea is basically, according to Imam Abu Hanifa, Salat of Isha is supposed to start when the astronomical twilight. So when the sun goes down, there's three twilights: civil twilight, nautical twilight, and astronomical twilight. When the astronomical twilight disappears, that's when Isha starts, according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. And according to his two students, they say no, it starts when the nautical twilight disappears. So that's basically 15 degrees, yeah, when the redness disappears. Purple plant. Assalamu alaikum, ahla wa sahlan. Is there a difference of opinion in Hanafi school on the combining of Dhuhr and Asr for the person who is not praying in Masjid Nimra? Yes. According to Imam Abu Hanifa, he says you do not combine if you're not going to pray behind the Imam of Masjid Nimra. And the Sahibain say no, you do, whether you pray behind the Imam of Masjid Nimra or not. Shaykh would like to meet you one day. Ameen, inshallah, Ibn Adam, inshallah, definitely. What section are you at in Hidayah? We are almost near the end of Zakat, just before the chapter of Sadaqatul Fitr. What is considered giving a talaq? Would a man need to say the word talaq, or would saying something like, I want to end this? Yes. So talaq can be said in explicit words, which is any statement that contains the word divorce or talaq, or it can be said in implicit words, which is any statement that he intended by it a divorce. So if he says to his wife, for example, it's over between us, and he intends by that meaning, I divorce you, then divorce will occur. Haydar wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Haydar. Where is your episode with Blogging Theology? If you go on Blogging Theology's YouTube channel, so Blogging Theology's YouTube channel, you'll find it there, inshallah. If a person has a tracksuit bottoms and he prays, then sees a tiny hole in his bottoms, does he have to repeat his salat? No, he doesn't have to. Are your Hidayah classes streamed for online students? Yes, on Wednesday. So you have to join the class, and then the class is free of charge. You send an email in on this email address over here, which you can see going by now, learningdeen@gmail.com. Then, inshallah, you'll get access. How do I access your Hidayah? So it's that way, basically. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to call it a day there. Jazakumullah khairan to all of you guys, mashallah, for attending. And hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful week, enjoying yourselves in the nice weather in the UK, wherever you are. Are the mustahab timings in the Hanafi school of thought different than actual start timings? Yes. So what I would suggest, Ibn Adam, is watch my Kuduri videos. In there I have explained about the Salat times, and in there's a section on the preferred times according to Hanafis to pray Salat. So go to my Kuduri videos, check out my Kuduri videos, and in there, inshallah, I will give you the playlist. Let me see if I can find the playlist. And then you can, inshallah, check them out. That's the good thing about making videos. I can just refer you guys to my videos. How much of Noor and Anwar did you complete in the course? I think it was about a third of it. A third, maybe more than a third. Can I catch up on recordings? Yes. What should I know before starting it? Noor Anwar. Noor Anwar. I would say if you want to do Noor Anwar, you need to first of all have done Usul Fiqh from before. Jazakallah khair, you're welcome, my brother Yahya. Maryam alaikum salam. Regarding Sajda Tilawa, what happens if one is memorizing and they keep repeating that verse? Do they perform it? No. Just one Sajda Tilawa suffices all of them. So if I have bottoms and there are tiny holes in here and there, it's okay. It depends how big the holes are. If it's so small that from a distance you can't tell it's a hole, then it'd be okay. For a person who is not of knowledge, what do they follow in terms of combining Dhuhr and Asr? I would say just do whatever the people are doing, right? If you're not unsure, then you just do whatever the people are doing. If you're with a group of people, just do what they're doing, inshallah. Salam, do you direct stream to YouTube or a program like OBS? So I actually stream this live stream through a platform called Restream. Restream is a platform, it's a website, and I basically stream on there, and then that streams the video onto various platforms. Also, statements of talaq can be said quite easily. Do married men therefore have to be married men have to be very careful. Yeah, very careful with that. Did you attend Sheikh Manzoor Mango's talks? Yes, I did. I attended them. Yeah, Allah. All right, so okay, I actually wanted to show you guys. The students' courseworks. Yeah, so actually, let me show you guys. Let me get the courseworks. I will be back. Right. I have almost finished your Kuduri. Am I okay to start your Hidayah now then? So if you feel comfortable that you finished the whole of the Kuduri, then I would say, yeah, you can start it, inshallah. Who is Manzoor Mangal? Manzoor Mangal. He's a scholar from Pakistan. Can a person cut their own hair to exit ihram? I would say yes. Yeah. So the Hanafis have not mentioned anything in the text with regards to a person cutting their own hair, but they've mentioned about cutting someone else's hair. So a person in ihram does not cut another person's hair. That's what they mentioned. So cutting your own hair, or if you finished all of the Hajj and they finished their Hajj, then cutting each other's hair, there'd be scope for that, I would say. Also, can they cut the hair of another while they're still? Is travel insurance for Hajj permitted? If you feel as though that something, there's a good chance of something happening to you and it's going to be too expensive for you to be able to pay the costs over there, then possibly yes. You wanted to show a book or two. Mu'adh ibn Jabal, alaikum salam. I live in Germany. What are your thoughts on taking student loan that has interest in it? If there is no other way for you to be able to make that money for the course, then it'll be permissible for you to take as a last resort. So these are some of the students' courseworks. Our third year and fourth year students. Those of you guys who are asking, about these. So we've got some, for example, like I'll just read some out to you guys. A brief history of the compilation of hadith and responses to its rejectors. So this was one of the assignments. Yeah, so the student has used various resources, like for example, they've used المنهج المقترح لفهم المصطلح مقدم ابن ماجه لعبد الرشيد نعماني تدريب الراوي. They've used some تغليظ من ادعى تلقي الأمة الصحيحين بالقبول قواعد في علوم الحديث, and they've used some English references text as well. This is one of them. So students have to write basically courseworks in our third year and fourth year's assignments, right? And we basically train them up in writing, developing their writing. This is another one. A brief history of the compilation of hadith and overview of the Quranist objection of hadith. So this is another one that's been written. Yeah, so again, this student has used many resources. They use Sahih Bukhari, Tadrib al-Rawi, Nusrat al-Nadar. They've used many English references as well, like Mustafa Azmi's works, Muhammad Hashim Kamali's works. So this is a good topic. Okay. And another one, again, I think they've done it on the same sort of topic discussion. Okay, one has done it on the history of compilation hadith, objections, again, Usul Hadith, Kufan Hadith in the Hanafi school. This is one of them has done. So Kufan Hadith, what's Kufan Hadith in the Hanafi school? Right, so the history of the Kufan Hadith, how Hadith was compiled in Kufa. So one of the students has written this. And then there is, how does Imam Bukhari, so it's basically Sul Hadith with the examining Imam Tirmidhi and Imam Bukhari's collection, differences between them. This is another assignment. These are fourth year assignments. These are very advanced. Students have to do a lot of reading for that and preparation. And then you got third year. Third year is more to do with fiqh. Yeah, so they're given a select number of fiqh books in Arabic, and they have to choose a particular chapter, and then they have to write basically a commentary of their own by assimilating the commentaries together. So some of them have done chapter of kafa'a, some of them have done chapters on khula, some of them chapters on nafaqat, kitab al-nikah, and so forth. So these are third year students basically. So they have to be able to read Arabic commentaries in order for them to be able to, and they have to touch upon modern, sort of like a modern example of a masala. Yeah, so these are their works, and this is what we kind of try and develop inside the students. Third year, especially onwards, fourth years, especially when it comes to writing, communication skills. Very, very important for scholars to have good academic writing skills. Have you heard about the uni fees now? Apparently, they are interest free. I've heard, but I don't know the details of it. I've heard there's something in that's going to be rolled out soon, but I don't know the exact details of it. The uni fees now say they are interest free, but can only fluctuate based on inflation. Is this halal? It depends on exactly how the fees work. Nado, wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. Assalamu alaikum. What's the size of that paper? A4, yes, A4 paper. What would you recommend to a new student who wants to study but is worried about long-term finances? Would you recommend studying instead of university or work? I don't know, because what I would say is up to that individual what they want to go into. I know for a fact a lot of people who have graduated from university, they actually don't work in the field of what they qualified in. I know a lot of them that actually go into something else. So again, it all depends upon what you're into, what you kind of for your future you think for yourself. If you feel as though you need to go to university and you need to qualify in a specific field, then if you can't manage the finances in any halal way, then there is scope for you to take a student loan. What's the best actions to rectify intentions when you are wanting to do some form of ibadah and feel thoughts of riyah? Just carry on doing it. Just ignore those thoughts. If you ever got those thoughts of riyah, just ignore them and carry on doing it. That is the best thing ever. Because that shaitan is actually coming to a person and using the riyah card to get them not to do it. How can I get a reference to apply to Islamic University of Medina? I have no idea. I haven't studied there, so you'd have to ask someone who has studied there to be able to give you guidance in that. Does Salah invalidate when you raise feet above the ground in sajda? No, it doesn't. I took a student loan with a fixed rate interest and I have to pay the interest as soon as I stop my loan, then repay the other loan. I see. I heard that the student loan, the university fees are going to double or go up in September. Subhanallah. Cheap. Should nowadays young ulama try to defame and blame senior scholars in videos if they don't agree with anything? Obviously, I feel that's wrong. That is. See, the problem with many graduates, I think there's several problems with new graduates these days. First of all, new graduates have social media. So social media now is a very, very problematic because you have to have a lot of self-control. You have to have a lot of ability to be able to take yourself to account before putting anything on social media. So I think this is one of the biggest trials that new graduates are going to have. That how do they use social media? Are they going to be using it in a way that's going to be more conducive to the ilm that they have, or through some other ways? That's the first thing. Second thing is, I think a lot of students need to understand that they need to first of all they need to become more proficient in this, or specialize in the science that they want to specialize in. Just because you graduate, it doesn't mean you know anything, right? So graduation is not necessarily a sign that you know things. Graduation simply means you've gone through a course. And I think what people seem to assume is once they graduate, they have the right to speak about any topic. And I think that's wrong. Someone who graduates does not have the right to speak about any, especially when it comes to um, criticizing or debating individuals. I don't think that is the right way to go about it. People have to understand scholars of the past used to go through many, many years of specialization, and then only would they start writing about things and only when they were absolutely sure that this is how they should do it. So I think this is going to unfortunately get worse as the years go on, sadly. Um, book recommendations for new students, English books to be read alongside Arabic studies and hifz. I would say, first of all, read the translation of the Quran, cover to cover. Right? Students should know translation of the Quran, I say. That's the first thing. Number two is read Sirah. So books on Sirah, very, very important. Have cover to cover, know like a lot of detail about Sirah, context of Sirah. These are two books that I think students in the beginning years should focus a lot on. A third one I would possibly recommend is history. If you can read books of history in your early years, it helps a lot. I wish I had, from year one, started reading history books to understand about what happened to Muslims over the years. Politically, how did Muslims function? On as scholars, the challenges that they faced. Um, new things that the Muslims were faced with historically. All of these things I think are very, very important if a person really wants to benefit from their knowledge. Yeah, Quran, make sure you thoroughly know what the Quran is talking about, cover to cover. Seerah and history. I think these are three things I would definitely. Please explain why Salah doesn't invalidate when feet go up as a Hanafi. I thought it did. No, it doesn't. So basically, the Hanafi say for a sajda to be valid, 1 foot and your forehead has to be touching the ground for the duration of one subhanallah. Yeah, so as long as in sajda, 1 foot and your forehead touch the ground for the duration of one subhanallah, which is about a few seconds, then your sajda done. If you lift your foot after that, then it's totally fine. So you don't have to have your feet on the ground the entire duration of sajda. And so clearly, when a person goes into sajda, naturally their feet are going to be touching the ground, and their head will be for a few seconds, and that's sufficient. That is. So when the Hanafis say that their feet have to be on the ground, what they mean is there has to be the duration of a few seconds. Your forehead and your feet have to be simultaneously on the ground for a few seconds at least. If a husband weighs the weight of his wife's gold each year for purpose of zakat and informs her of this, but does not explicitly say on day of discharging it that he gave it for zakat, is it valid? Yes, it's fine. As long as he's given the zakat, it's valid. Wa alaikum assalam. Say a wife asks a husband for talaq when he is asleep and he gives 3 talaq in sleepy, delirious state. No, then it won't occur. Are there any books of seerah and history in particular? So what I would suggest is reading like Martin Ling's is a good place to start from. English. Martin Ling's. If you can read that, very good. Rahiq al-Makhtoum, if you can read that in English, that's also another good book to read as well. If you can read a book called Sirat al-Mustafa by Sheikh Idris Khandelwi, is translated into English, that's a very good place to start off with. Books in English and history, I'm not too sure about English. I'm not too sure about English history books. But yeah, I mean, you can read about the 4 Khulafas by Imam Suyuti that's been translated. The 4 Khulafa. That's a book you can read. The thing is, I would definitely say students have to be aware of historical things, contextualization of knowledge as well. It's very, very important to understand about that. Does a person performing having give their annual qurbani since they are traveler? If they do not, is it rewarding? If they still do anyway, yes, it's rewarding. Yeah, so if they're in Hajj, they don't have to give qurbani because they're travelers. But if they do extra, it's fine. Nafal. It's like praying nafal salat. If a person prays nafal salat, is it a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing. Definitely. Right. Okay, is there any other question? Yeah, so like I was saying, students, when a person is studying, I would definitely encourage students, especially in year 3, year 4, to start writing. Write. especially when it comes to research. Learn how to research. If you can get access to a good teacher and you can get close to them and you can ask them, look, if I was to write something, can you check it for me? And can I do some research? Can you guide me in how to research? I think that is one of the biggest things that students benefit from. I benefited a lot from research. It opened up the whole world of books for me. And, I used to hate reading books. Imagine that. I used to hate reading books. When I was in college, I did college A levels. I graduated from the college, but I hated reading books. Then it's only later on when I started studying madrasa that I actually began to show keen interest in reading books. Like now, sometimes 8 hours a day, I'm just reading a book or books. And that's not, I'm not saying that just to kind of show off or anything. I'm saying that because that's simply because I might have a particular passion about reading a book, particular passion about it. So, that's something that you need to gain. And when sometimes people say, I read a book, I feel tired, or read a book, I get a bit bored. One of the main reasons for that is either because you don't have passion about that subject, and you're forcing yourself. That's not a good thing. Do not force yourself to read something that you're not passionate about. So you have to have a keen interest, right? It's got to be like one of those things that it's got to be like one of those a movie that someone is really passionate about. They can't wait to get home to put it on. It's like that. So as soon as you get home, you just want to open the book and start reading it. Number two is social media has unfortunately rendered people's attention span very, very short. So they find it difficult to be able to read a full page of a book and keep at a degree of attention. So what I would say is for that you have to break the barrier, and what I mean by that is put your phone down, turn it off, or silent it, put it away from you, put it in a different room, and just force yourself to read several pages. And then what happens is that is the thing that's gonna develop inside of you a longer attention span. Yeah, definitely. And the third thing I would recommend is when you're reading a book, make sure you're making notes. Do not just read a book and mentally make a note in your head. No, that's like, for example, like um, literally, it's like getting a whole load of money and throwing it in the sea. Right, you're not going to see again. So what you need to do is you need to make notes, highlight things. If you want to write in the margin of the book, okay, it's up to you. Ideally, you write it on a separate document. Yeah, write in a separate document. You write down main points, write down page number that you saw this in, and then once you've finished your reading for that day, you go back to the list of notes that you've made and you read through them and try to think to yourself, what was this about? And that way you're going to retain the information as well. So that's something which I definitely think students of knowledge should do. People who say they read and they don't make notes, they're just fooling themselves really, unless they've got some supernatural memory. Then otherwise, it's just a bit of a they're deceiving themselves, I say. I used to sometimes read lots of books and not make notes. And I realized I wasn't remembering things anymore. I forgot what were the main things in that book. But when I start making notes, then I can even go back to those notes 1 year later, 2 years later, check them out, and it refreshes so much. So much memories come back just because I remember what I wrote there. Barakallah feek Sharif. If you sleep with the hand on side of your face, haram, is it considered covering? No. Wa alaikum assalam. I hope you're well. Can you inform me of a book name in English with a list of all the major sins? I found a book with 70 only. You mentioned there was two. I don't know if there's an English one available. There's an Arabic one available called Al Kaba'ir by Imam Dhahabi. Al Kaba'ir. I don't know if it's in English. Ibrahim Ahmed, do you have to face the Qibla if praying Fard on a coach or plane? If you can, you should. If you can't, then it's fine. Just face in the direction that your seat is in. Recovering from social media's effects on our attention is hard, even for a rare user. After a year of deleting them, it's got better. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. Social media can really kind of make your attention span very narrow and very short. I'm a student of knowledge. I met someone. She wants to be a lawyer and work in the future. Would this be a problem in the future? Do you advise to marry her? Or up to you, my brother. If you're into lawyers, then go for it. If you think it's going to be good for you. I mean, I'm not really a marriage counselor. Yeah, I haven't kind of married 100 women and got a whole life experience of marrying women. But I would say generally is look, you look at your own self. Think about it. Speak to people who have the same similar situation as yours, and they'll be able to give you a better answer. Do not rush into anything in life. Anything. This is my sort of rule. Anything that is going to be with you for many years. Yeah, anything that you're going to have for many years. Do not rush and make an impulse decision. Never ever do that. Always really think about this. Always think what's the benefits here? How many benefits? Write them down on a piece of paper. How many benefits are there in marrying this woman? Yeah. And then flip the paper over and write down how many harms are there in marrying this woman. So no, how many harms are there if I don't marry this woman? Yeah. So on one side, write down how many benefits are there in marrying this woman, and then flip side, write down how many harms are there if I don't marry this woman, and then you can see for yourself. Because a lot of these times, what happens is you become impulse mode. You can't see rationally what's happening, and that's where you later on may regret the decision that you made. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. As you can see, YouTube. There's a YouTube plaque there. I need to put a little light on there so you guys can see it better. Yeah, so that's that's basically my general advice for that. If you sleep with the hand inside of your face, no, it's not. If someone missed a few years of paying zakat and qurbani, but they were obliged to do it, they can backdate the zakat, but must they backdate the qurbani? Yes, they have to make that up as well. Yeah, so in that case, what they do is they should give the money. Yeah, make it up in that way. All right, guys, I'm going to finish it there. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much, guys, for a nice, wonderful experience. I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful week. May Allah bless all of you guys and give you a nice time, inshallah. And remember your du'as as well. And inshallah, next week, as usual, I will be putting up videos as usual on Mondays. I usually put learn how to read the Quran. On Tuesday, I put up and these days I'm putting up hadith du'as. Wednesday it's the one of Ali radiallahu anhu, and Thursdays it's Quduri, Mukhtasar Quduri. Fridays and Saturdays have live streams, and then I also put up other videos as well. All right, guys, take care, inshallah. I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum. Be ma'ahla wa sahlan. Be good wa alaikum assalam. Is nutmeg haram? As long as it doesn't intoxicate you, it's okay. Assalamu alaikum.